Get ready for one of the most explosive clashes between rural Britain and the big city elites. Jeremy Clarkson, TV superstar turned farmer, is fuming after Labour's newest inheritance tax hikes, what many are calling a tractor tax, threatened to devastate the UK's farming industry. But when Clarkson and other farmers tried to organise a protest to speak out, they were hit with a bombshell. Their rally would be blocked, while other high-profile protests, including pro-Palestine and Just Stop Oil, would go ahead unchallenged. Clarkson's frustration is more than palpable, and he's laying bare accusations of a sinister double standard. How is it that farmers, just trying to protect their land and livelihoods, are silenced while others seem to get a free pass? In the last 24 hours, Clarkson has turned his fury into a public crusade, and he's not holding back. With the rally still technically on, but with heavy restrictions, we're diving deep into why the government is seemingly making life harder for farmers across the UK, while other protests are going full steam ahead. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because you won't believe the twists that led to this rural versus urban showdown. Let's pull back the curtain on one of Britain's most explosive controversies in recent years. This isn't just about tractors or taxes. This is about Britain's heartland feeling crushed under the weight of government indifference. The story centres on Jeremy Clarkson, a figure known for his blunt, no-nonsense style, who has recently taken on the role of a defender of the countryside. It all started with Labour's latest inheritance tax policy, which introduces a 20% tax on farmland worth over £1 million, a move that threatens to decimate family-run farms across the UK. For generations, these farms were exempt from inheritance tax, allowing them to pass down to the next generation without massive financial strain. Labour, however, argues that the tax will only impact 27% of farms, affecting the wealthier minority. But the National Farmers Union, NFU, insists the true number is closer to 66% of all farms. Clarkson has been vocal about how the new tax could make it impossible for family farms to survive, and he's not the only one outraged. Many farmers feel this is a targeted attack on rural Britain, a ploy by the city-centric government to bulldoze over the countryside and cater to urban priorities. Clarkson, a vocal critic of what he sees as the war on the countryside, began rallying farmers across the UK. He had hoped for a peaceful, dignified demonstration, a chance for farmers to stand together and let their voices be heard in the halls of power. So Clarkson organised a coach to take dozens of farmers from the Cotswolds to London, meticulously planning every detail to avoid disruptions. No tractors, no blocked roads, no chaos, just a unified stand. But the NFU dashed his hopes when they sent out a memo saying that legal issues would prevent a large demonstration. Farmers, they warned, couldn't simply gather in numbers outside Parliament, as it would risk public safety and might lead to backlash from the public. The backlash from this decision was swift. Many farmers, Clarkson included, believed there's a disturbing double standard at play. He lashed out, stating that pro-Palestine and Just Stop Oil protests seem to receive free rein, while farmers seeking to protect their way of life are stymied. "Perhaps if I had draped my tractor in a Palestinian flag, it would be different," he wrote in an enraged column for The Sun, pointing to what he sees as the government's selective treatment of protests. Clarkson went even further, accusing the government of actively ignoring the countryside's needs, all while catering to urban issues. "We're just as angry and desperate as anyone," Clarkson fumed, "but because we're farmers, we're treated differently." The NFU insists the choice to limit the demonstration was their own, intended to keep the protest safe and orderly. According to an NFU spokeswoman, "Our decision to keep our mass lobby event on November 19th focused on MP engagement is in line with our event's purpose as a lobby. Our event is not a protest and has never been a protest." This statement, however, did little to calm the wave of discontent. Farmers across the country felt shut down, frustrated that their plans to peacefully voice their grievances had been undercut, while other groups protesting in much more disruptive ways were given what seemed like a free pass. Even the Metropolitan Police weighed in, denying any involvement in restricting the protest. "At no point have we banned anyone from marching on this date. We will work with anyone wishing to organise a peaceful protest," they stated. But this clarification did nothing to quell the anger among farmers who felt marginalised and sidelined. Many see this as yet another example of rural Britain being systematically pushed out of the public eye, its concerns dismissed, while the political elite caters to urban interests and high-profile causes. This scandal doesn't exist in a vacuum. At the same time as farmers are being blocked from protesting, a new controversy is erupting over the London Assembly's recent motion to provide asylum seekers with free access to public transportation. The Assembly argues that asylum seekers need help with essential journeys as they face limited work opportunities and receive only a small stipend for non-food expenses. But critics see this as a slap in the face to ordinary Britons, many of whom struggle to afford transportation themselves. GB News star Martin Daubney spoke out furiously, saying that the government is laying out a red carpet for asylum seekers while ignoring the needs of British citizens. According to Mike Jones from Migration Watch UK, ordinary Londoners are being shafted, while migrants are afforded a wide range of benefits. In their eyes, Labour's priorities are upside down, ignoring British citizens who face rising transport costs. The fury only deepens when considering that, alongside this proposal, Mayor Sadiq Khan is expected to raise tube and bus fares by nearly 5% as part of the latest budget. In the meantime, across the pond, Foreign Secretary David Lammy is desperately trying to avoid a trade war with the newly elected President Donald Trump, who has vowed to increase tariffs on imports into the US. Britain, already reeling from economic strain, could be hit hard by Trump's proposed tariffs, which may soar as high as 60% on goods from Europe and the UK. The diplomatic scandal deepened when it was revealed that Lammy had previously called Trump deluded, dishonest, xenophobic, narcissistic, and a neo-Nazi sympathizing sociopath. Lammy attempted to downplay his past remarks as old news, but the fallout from a potential clash with the US looms large. While Lammy scrambles to save face, Clarkson's campaign to defend Britain's farmers is beginning to feel like a larger symbol of a country divided. On one side, urban political elites seem to cater to a specific set of priorities and interests, and on the other, rural communities feel increasingly abandoned and under threat. Farmers like Clarkson see themselves as the guardians of a way of life that's slowly being erased by bureaucratic red tape, taxes, and a government that seems out of touch with their realities. As the days tick down to November 19th, farmers are left wondering if their voices will be heard or if, once again, they'll be drowned out by the noise of the political machine. Clarkson's fury encapsulates a broader sense of betrayal sweeping through the countryside. Will this be the spark that lights a fire of protest across rural Britain? Or will the government's silence continue to drown out the voices of those who work the land? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. Clarkson's battle against the tractor tax is far from over.